similar things, like, with my glasses, like with micro credentials and those kind of things.
Good morning. Welcome to the Illinois University Board of Trustees Committee meetings. I will now call the meeting to order and ask the Secretary to call the roll.
Abizana. Barnett.
Present.
Connolly.
Present.
Curtis.
Present.
Gilbert.
Present.
Hightower.
Present.
Salger.
Present.
Simmons. Williams.
Present.
A quorum has been established. Trustee Hightower is unable to attend today due to health reasons, and Trustee Salger is unable to attend due to work commitment. Pursuant to the board's bylaws, both are permitted to attend if members physically present. Vote to allow them to attend by video or audio conference. Is there a motion to allow Trustees Hightower and Salger to join the December 4th, 2025 meeting virtually?
So
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. The first committee meeting today is the Academic Matters Committee. First of all, Trustee, we don't see Trustee Hightower or Salver. I think they're behind us on the. I'm always nervous when trustees are behind me instead of in front of me where I can't see them. So no faces, Trustee Hightower or Salver, because I can't see you. All right. The first committee meeting today is the Academic Matters Committee. Trustee Hightower is participating virtually today, so I'm appointing Trustee Williams to serve as Chair Pro Tem of the Academic Matters Committee. And additionally, I'm appointing Trustee Barnett and Trustee Simmons as member of the Academic Matters Committee for today's meeting. Trustee Williams, please proceed.
the meeting of the Academic Matters Committee is now in session. Dr. Gupchuk, are there any announcements?
Yes, I have one announcement. Thank you, Trustee Williams. So my announcement, I'd like to tell a very short story about the several teams I've worked with across the system. Be it the course exchange team, the transfer team, the different teams in our office, and all the other teams that are too numerous to name. I realized what it is about these teams that has allowed them to have collaborative success. When I recently heard a statement by a member of the Women's World Cup winning cricket team, and the player said, when team members have a goal in mind, care about each other, and believe in each other's strengths, it is very difficult to beat that team. It struck me that these are our SIU system teams that have succeeded. Teams at the system that you lead as trustees through our executive leaders. I just wanted you to know that. At this point, I'd like to invite one of these teams, members of one of these teams, the Open Educational Resources Task Force, to kindly make a short presentation about their aims and a grant that they have received. So Elsa Ibrosheva and Amy Etchison, could you please come up and present?
Good morning, trustees. Thank you, Dr. Gupchuk. Thank you for the opportunity to provide an update on the SAU System Open Education Resource Initiative, our system-wide effort to improve affordability, expand access, and position SAU as a leader in open education. Across higher education, the need is clear. Textbook prices have risen more than 160% since 2000, and nearly two-thirds of students report delaying or skipping required materials due to cost, often at the expense of their academic performance. At SAUE, our long-standing commitment to textbook affordability, especially through our textbook service rental model, has ensured equitable access for students. But in recent years, the rapid rise of one-time digital access codes, often $80 to $100 per course, posed a serious challenge to the sustainability of that model. In response, SAUE convened a task force to explore cost-saving strategies, including expanding the use of open educational resources. OER, as they're known, are free, openly licensed materials that give faculty the ability to customize content and give students immediate, no-cost access from day one. SAUE built a strategic OER framework by training a team of faculty champions and staff stakeholders through participation in the AAC&U OER Institute. Here I want to acknowledge Dr. Mark Petzel, Dr. Stan Solomon, and our OER librarian, Joe Colburn, for their leadership on that task. Through the effort of this faculty champion and strategic investment, the program has saved SAU more than $1 million in textbook costs since 2021. And this remarkable achievement was made possible with an initial investment of just $30,000, demonstrating the program cost effectiveness and its value to the campus community. The effort has also strengthened teaching and learning. Faculty report increased engagement and greater flexibility in meeting diverse student needs, and students consistently say OER reduce their financial stress and improve access. This work now informs broader planning, including SAU's textbook affordability initiative, which incorporates OER alongside other cost-saving models. This year, we expanded from a campus initiative to a system level one. Working with our colleagues at SAUC, we encouraged the system to join DOORS, a leading national collaborative focused on OER, open pedagogy, sustainable implementation. We are also the first system in the state of Illinois to join that network. Membership connects our faculty and leaders to emerging research and best practices across the country. More recently, the system-wide OER task force partnered with the SAU Press to submit a proposal to the Midwestern Higher Education Compact. Amy Etchison, the director of the SAU Press, can talk further about this promising collaboration. And in closing, I just wanted to say that SAU OER's initiative, now strengthened by system engagement and national partnerships, is reducing costs for students and advancing inclusive pedagogy, and has the potential to position our system to lead in the future of open education. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for having us. As also said, I'm Amy Etchison, Director of SIU Press, the scholarly publishing unit of SIU. The press was established in the mid-1950s and has published nearly 3,000 books since then, and over 1,000 of those are still in print. I'd love to talk to you more about the press sometime, but today I am here to talk to you about my role and potentially the press's role in advancing OER initiatives across the SIU system and in the state. So first I want to mention that for the past 6 years, SIU Carbondale's Library Affairs has offered a monetary incentive program to faculty who actively commit to utilizing OERs in their courses. But last spring, the SIU system convened an OER task force consisting of faculty and administrators at SIUE and SIUC. And I joined as director of SIU Press to explore how the press might support OER production at the two campuses. So last spring, however, it soon became apparent that the need for OER publishing assistance extends beyond SIU. And in July, Mark Petzel and I received a $10,000 grant from the Midwestern Higher Education Compact to host a statewide hybrid mini conference in the spring. And the goal is to bring Illinois OER leaders together to assess the feasibility of establishing SIU Press as a project management hub for OER publishing in the state. Currently, OER publishing in Illinois often resembles assisted self-publishing, whereby faculty handle the writing and all of the publishing tasks. And this has minimal peer review and no university press oversight. This can limit quality control, and it generally excludes these work from tenure and promotion considerations and can discourage faculty participation. By integrating SIU Press, we hope to change that. Our expertise allows us to manage tasks such as project scoping, timeline development, editing, design, both interior design, cover design, copyright, licensing, and optional print-on-demand services, among many, many other publishing tasks. More importantly, we can provide trustworthy peer review, faculty editorial board approval, and the imprimatur of university press publication, which means a lot to scholars. These value adds from SIU Press would allow these works to count as scholarship in tenure and promotion packets, and it would help with career advancement. So that thereby it would incentivize faculty to create and adopt OERs in their classes. and this could save students thousands of dollars in textbook costs while elevating the academic quality of these publications. So as I said, the conference will be in the spring, and we should have more to report after that meeting, so I hope that you'll have us back sometime for an update. Thank you. And we'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have about this program. Yes.
Thank you. It all sounds very fascinating. My question is, SIU has just become a R1 university, right? So with the OER, will it be a springboard or a big help for those students who are attempting to publish their research findings?
Well, the press mostly publishes works by faculty and scholars, but if those faculty and scholars include students in their research and publishing, then sure.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yes. Any other questions?
Yeah, I did not necessarily a question. I just want to thank you all for the work that you're doing. You know, one of the things we talk about frequently is the cost of higher education, and everybody focuses on tuition and fees. And as I've noted several times, actually, net tuition and fees has generally gone down at our institutions through different scholarship programs and things like that. But it doesn't mean students don't have stress financially. And one of the ways they have stress is meeting the costs of the textbooks and course materials, and so things we're doing here to reduce that make a huge difference for our students, so thank you for that.
Our first item of business is the approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes for the meeting held September 18th, 2025?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Madam President, Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call.
Hightower,
Yes.
Avicenna, Barnett,
Yes.
Salger,
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
The motion passes. Sorry about that, Judge Gilbert.
I'm going to tell her husband Scott that she's now Madam President instead of Madam Secretary.
The next item is the performance report. Vice President Gupchuk, will you please introduce this item?
Thank you, Trustee Williams. Each year, the SIU system prepares a performance report. The report involves our response to the 3 goals outlined by IBHE in their strategic plan, A Thriving Illinois. Each provost will highlight one success achieved under each of the 3 goals: equity, sustainability, and growth. I will request Provost Tucker to present first, followed by Executive Associate Dean McDowell, and then Provost Cobb. Provost Tucker?
Well, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and update you about the work that occurred during the last fiscal year. If I could have the next slide, please. So IBHE's goals, the first one to address is equity, and that is expanding access and closing gaps. As you're aware, Carnegie has designated SIUC as an opportunity university. So what does that mean? If you look at this, because it is a new classification, that means we have a proven record of promoting student access and socioeconomic mobility, which is critical for our student population. Out of over 3,000 institutions that were reviewed, 479 in the country were chosen for this new designation that looks at the 2025 student access and earnings classification. This is exciting for us because it reflects our mission here at SIUC to foster equity, inclusion, and upward mobility, particularly from students from underserved populations, which is a growing part of our student enrollment. We are becoming a destination campus for success for all students. So how are we doing this? What are we bringing together? And part of this is having a culture of caring on our campus, hands-on learning and personalized support, and the addition of Associate Provost for Student Success, Dr. Shelley Gerke, has really allowed us to take more siloed aspects of student success and bring those together. And I just wanted to highlight that Student Success Council. That's where everyone from across campus, whether it be in student affairs, in the research office, or academic affairs, we're all coming together, ADEI, and they're having substantive conversations about how do we support student success and how do we integrate and collaborate, and that we're not sort of walking all over each other, but we have an integrated plan, and marketing and communications really helps us with that as well, to make sure that students are getting the messages they need and not getting 100 so they tune out. So these targeted support services, financial aid initiatives, and community partnerships really allow us to be effective in this space. And just to give you one example of our tutoring center, we don't just offer tutoring, but we also offer academic coaching to help students think about how can I be successful, get to class, learn to take notes, etc. And we served over 1,000 students in the last year. So SIUC is ensuring that all students have that opportunity to succeed, not only academically, but professionally as they leave our institution. Like our sister institution, we have been awarded from the Insight into Diversity magazine, which is now Insight into Academia. This is our 6th year in a row for this award, and this really elevates the recruitment and retention of our students, our employees, the leadership support, campus climate, our supplier diversity, and other key aspects of our institutional inclusion. Also wanted to highlight the Military Times magazine. We are first in Illinois. We are third in the Midwest and 57th in the country for schools that are best for vets. And so that's another part of our diversity initiatives and being inclusive. Pardon?
I missed what you said about the
57th in the country.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Next slide, please. Just to highlight some of the work that we've done in sustainability, affordability, and financial stability, SIUC awards nearly $27 million in scholarships, and 91% of our students receive some sort of financial aid. This reflects our strong commitment to the affordability and access. And I wanted just to highlight a few things. The Chancellor Scholarship is the most prestigious full-ride awards that are based on academic credentials, community leadership, and extracurricular activities. The analogous Provost Scholarship is for transfer students. Those are an important part of our population here at SIUC, and it covers the tuition and mandatory fees for 2 years. Then we have Academic Excellence Scholarships for high-achieving students, and then we also, again, a lot of institutions don't do a lot with the transfer student population, but we also recognize that academic achievement of transfer students and their leadership potential with those types of scholarships, and those are for 2 years if you're a transfer student. So again, how do we do this? Well, one of them is fundraising. This is the second highest fundraising total in SIU's history. And I want to give a big shout out to those deans and development officers that really we set the tone when I came here a few years ago about the role of a dean in fundraising. And that's about 50% of the work that they're doing is friend and fundraising, and it's for these purposes, to sustain our students. And so I keep expecting to get invoices for new tires and new soles on people's shoes, because they're really out there working hard, hitting the ground, and visiting with alums and those that are interested in supporting higher education in general, as well as SIUC. So this significantly advances our scholarships, our research initiatives, and our capital projects for campus. 17% of our students are receiving a scholarship that comes directly from the foundation. Our scholarship support has increased 5 consecutive years, and that is for fiscal 25, 135% increase. So it's pretty remarkable, and it is helping our students be successful. Next slide. So the third IBHE goal is talent and innovation engine that higher ed should serve this purpose. As you're well aware, we were designated a Carnegie One research institution in this last fiscal year. That puts us in the top 5% nationally as very high research activity. But what's important to note here, and if, it was apropos yesterday, I got my magnet in the mail. You look at the 479 institutions that are designated opportunity, and then you look at those that were designated research. In the middle of those two circles, there are only 21 institutions in the country that have both of those designations that many times feel competing, the research and access and opportunity. But at SIU, that is the ethos of who we are. Our research R&D spending is nearly $76 million. $25.5 million of that comes from the state of Illinois, which was a 22% increase. $22 million came from private and nonprofit sources, which is a 25% increase. So a shout out to our faculty, our staff, and our students, undergraduate and graduate students that participate in the research enterprise. That's an important aspect, again, of who we are and how we have students participating alongside faculty. The question about, do they publish together? Many times they do. They publish their works together, or they go out and present those, because if we do the work but we don't disseminate it, it doesn't have that impact. And I also wanted to highlight here the Office of Innovation and Economic Development, because it's an important part of what we do in our research enterprise. This office was founded in 1985. It is the primary outreach arm for business development and community engagement. It focuses on the 17 counties in southern Illinois. It is funded in part by the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Activity, and many of you had a chance to visit the Gower Translational Research Facility when we opened BioLaunch, which is part of IFERM, which is the Illinois Food Entrepreneurship Research and Manufacturing Hub, is part of that facility. And again, it is to provide advanced wet lab space for faculty, students, and industry partners to collaborate on biotechnology, food, agricultural, and health innovation. So again, driving the economy of our region and then the state more largely. A shout out to the executive director and her team that has that office. The tables here, I hate to clutter slides with tables, but I think it's really important to see the types of clients that they're serving, the work they're doing in the community, and how important that is to our community, that we be that economic engine. So that wraps up my overview of fiscal 25, and we're already making great strides in fiscal 26 to continue to succeed in these important areas to support the southern region as well as the state of Illinois. And the next slide is just if you have any questions you would like.
I have one question. As far as the first slide, minority enrollment increases to 30.9%. Where are most of those students? Where do most of those students reside, and where are we recruiting them from?
A lot of our students are from Cook County or the Chicagoland area, but we're also seeing an increase of students from southern Illinois.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Regarding the R1 designation and the opportunity university designation, really just a comment. I so appreciate the marketing that has gone on around that as well. We are one of 21. And then also what you said about sometimes those can appear to be competing agendas, and yet SIU has not only found a way to integrate those together, but are really celebrating those. And so I appreciate that work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm excited to be with you this morning and share our performance update on the IBH goals from SIU School Medicine. Next slide, please. We will focus on three aspects this morning in the presentation. For sustainability, we'll talk about growth and sustainability in our clinical practice at SIU Medicine. the second initiative around growth, we'll talk about growth in our learners, specifically the Lincoln Scholars Program, and really the economic impact that our learners have across the state of Illinois and beyond. And third, for progress around equity, we'll share some advancements and developments around the community health worker program that we have. Next slide, please. For sustainability, first and foremost, SIU medicine, or the clinical practice, has shown significant growth from 2019 to 2025. As you can see, our clinical productivity has increased 70%. Clinical income increased almost 60%, with a 20% increase in physician faculty and resident physicians. And most importantly to note, our operating reserves stand at the 60th percentile for medical school practices. We're very proud of that and feel that that is a great marker of our financial stability moving forward. But this is only half of the story. As a community-based medical school, we rely not only on our SIU medicine practice, but the strong partnerships that we have with our hospital systems, with our insurers, and with the government. And we can tell you today that those partnerships continue to grow and strengthen year by year. Next slide. Turning our attention to the goal of growth. SIU School of Medicine has had significant growth in learners from 2019 to 2025 as well. We've had significant growth in the number of physician assistant students, significant growth in graduate medical education programs or resident physicians and fellows, as well as growth in medical students. And growth specifically around medical students has been the Lincoln Scholars Program. And as you've heard about this novel program, this is a 4-year track where students remain in Carbondale with the hope that they will have an increased interest in serving the rural communities of Southern Illinois moving forward as they grow into their practice. Next slide, please. The economic impact of our learners is really important, and this really drives this home. On average, each physician annually contributes to the support of 17 jobs, over $3 million in direct and indirect economic output, over $1.4 million in salaries, and $126,000 in tax revenues. Next bullet, please. But when we factor that in, on our average of 80 physicians who will graduate from our medical school and then go on to the practice world after they finish their residency and fellowship, they will annually contribute to 1,360 jobs, over $250 million in direct and indirect economic output, over $112 million in salaries, and $10 million in tax revenues. And it is our hope that a large number of those will stay in the state of Illinois. And historically, since the inception of SIU School of Medicine, that number resides around about 1/3 of our graduates. So it is a significant driver of economic impact across the state of Illinois. Next slide, please. Finally, we turn our attention to equity. And this is a story that is easy for me to tell as an emergency physician in the Office of Community Health Work. Tomorrow, I'll be in the emergency department taking care of patients. And we can do an excellent job meeting their needs. But what happens between us seeing them and then getting to their specialty care or their primary care appointment is a big gap. And this is where community health workers are truly a linchpin in what we're trying to do. Next slide, please. So what do I mean? It's the community health workers who help remove the barriers that our disadvantaged patients have to receiving care. Some of those barriers are around transportation. Some of those barriers are around access to care. Some of those barriers are around insurance, lack of insurance, or lack of access to financial assistance. And finally, all of this has translated into reduced need for other services in the community, such as involvement with law enforcement. We've seen great strides here, and we really feel that the Community Health Worker Program has had a significant impact on our region, and we've been growing that, and we look to grow that moving forward. Next slide, please. So in summary, we're very excited about the progress we've made across these 3 areas, and I'll be glad to take any questions that you have.
Well, I will say that these 2 presentations have been just marvelous, and following what Dr. Hightower is about ready to say, we need to tell this story because the impact that this university across the system has on the quality of life of the people in Illinois and even beyond is immeasurable. And we appreciate the work that you folks do.
Thank you.
Thank you both for the glowing reports. We appreciate your work and dedication. Thank you.
Trustee Williams, Provost Cobb will now present from SIU. Sorry.
Thank you.
You know, I have the challenge of upholding the high standard.
Good morning.
I appreciate a high bar. This is always a challenge to present, right? You see the size of the annual report. It's a retrospective for fiscal year. I'm always really excited to talk about where we are and where we're headed. And so now I have to pause and look back. But I hope that you will see how the work over the past year informed the good news that the Chancellor brought to this board at our last meeting and will continue to bring as we go forward. So that's one part. The other part is to just acknowledge that the work that goes into that annual performance report outcomes, the outcomes there are the result of the work, not just in academic affairs, but across the university. So I want to make sure that I acknowledge the work of the other people on Chancellor's Council, the other vice chancellors, and the faculty and staff who make the work happen, regardless of what division they're in. I have the pleasure of and the honor of presenting it, but it is certainly not just the effort of academic affairs. So if we could move forward. So we're all taking these in slightly different order. So I'll start with equity. If you've read our strategic plan, you're familiar with our goals. I think you know that we are laser focused on student success and closing equity gaps. And part of what you see is the moves that we're making to try to hit that ambitious goal of 90% retention that we've laid out in our strategic plan. You don't move that directly, you don't move there in 1 year, right? That is a large and ambitious goal, but continuing for that trend line to move in the right way, moving pieces, making significant changes, all help propel us forward. So the things that we accomplished in FY25 include moving to direct entry. So for those of you who are like, what's direct entry? So now, rather than waiting till near the end of your sophomore year, the beginning of your junior year, maybe later, students can declare their major from the very beginning. Now think about how important that is. It's not just about, I'm in this major. It is an opportunity to connect with their faculty from, prior to day one, right? It's an opportunity to begin developing an identity as a scholar. And it also helps to dispel some mythology, right? So community mythology of, you can't get into nursing. Nursing's full, they're at capacity. No, they're not, right? We have capacity, we welcome you, and we want you to be part of our nursing community. It's just one example, right? But we want to make those connections early. There's still space for students to explore, though. Not everyone knows what all the possibilities are, and they genuinely want to explore, and we want to support them in that journey. So that's one piece, right? We've talked to this board a number of times about codes, our community-oriented digital engagement scholars program. With the help of the Mellon Foundation, we've expanded that group from 25 students to 100 students, right? Making the outstanding opportunities of that program available to more students. Similarly, with the funding from the John Martinson gift that's now part of the John Martinson Honors Program, we've been able to expand the John Martinson Honors cohort. We know that both of those programs are really critical to reaching that goal of 90%, right? If you're going to reach 90%, you have to make sure that some goal groups are achieving over 90% so that you can hit that. So those are just examples of the expansion we've been doing. In addition, the Boundless Scholar Experience served 281 first-year students last year. And so when you think about our student body and the growth in underrepresented students, and now that program in particular serves 73% Pell-eligible students, and the percentage of Pell-eligible students in our first-year class continues to rise, making sure that we have wraparound supports for students so that they can feel welcome, feel a sense of belonging, and have the academic supports that they need to be successful, really critical. All of this, though, then sort of has an opportunity to begin one step earlier with our summer success program. So we have expanded our summer success program. We started with 25 students, right? It's something that we're funding. And so you start somewhere, right? You're like, can we make it work? And we saw positive outcomes. As you can imagine, our chancellor was like, well, can we serve more? And 56 is not the number he gave us. We're working toward his goal. So next year, when I stand here, I'll give you a number that has a third digit in it.
He'll still say the same thing.
Fair point, Trustee Simmons. So, but this program is really valuable to students. It allows them to get acquainted with our campus early, right before the semester begins, accomplish 7 student credit hours, and think about the ways in which they already feel like, oh, I know the resources, I've connected with faculty, I know how to get around campus, and so then they feel this jump start that allows them to be successful in that first semester. So all of this is part of the move toward closing equity gaps. Remember, we were able to show some really positive gains this fall in closing equity gaps and moving that retention number. So next slide, please. So the second one is sustainability. There's so many things to talk about, but as a relatively young campus in the grand scheme of things, right, creating a culture of giving and an ethos of philanthropy is really a challenge for our campus, and you can see that the work that has gone on over the last few years is starting to pay off. Yet again, right, you see growth in giving, in private giving, as well as a higher goal for our day of giving and reaching that goal and exceeding that goal, but also seeing not just a rise in the number of the total amount, but in the percentage of people participating, right? And having a greater number of people who are identifying themselves as donors and supporters of the university only helps us as a community, right? All of this that allows us to invest in programs, whether it's codes or honors or scholarships or boundless scholars or summer success, all of those benefit, and our scholarship programs all help students succeed. Additionally, you heard Dr. Abrosheva and our colleagues talk about the OER program, and this is really has university support, but it's faculty led, and I just want to emphasize the importance when students are making choices, right, and they're thinking about, okay, I need to pay this bill, I need to do this repair, right, they've covered tuition and fees, they're still there, but they have expenses all along the way. What we don't want is for them to choose not to have a book, right, or not to have a course material, and they will make that choice, right, because it's challenging. Our textbook rental program has always offset that, but you can't rent out a one-time digital access code. And so having our faculty deeply invested in OER is only beneficial to preserving the power of that textbook rental program. So I just wanted to reiterate why that program is important to student success and the sustainability of our textbook rental program, which I think is in line with all of our strategic goals as an institution. Next slide, please. This last one is about growth. If you've heard the chancellor talk here in the community elsewhere, you'll hear him say, our goal is to be at the center of all things positive in our communities, and that SIUE is propelling the workforce in our region today and tomorrow. And so when you look at those strategies that IBHE has laid out, it's really about universities powering the workforce, being drivers of economic development, being committed to workforce development. And so when you think about SIUE, remember, we're expanding our footprint. I've talked here, the chancellor has talked to others about our work in Belleville at the Southwestern Illinois Center for Justice and Workforce Development. We've talked about our work at the Wedge and our role at the Wedge. But all of that is trying to make sure that we're at the heart of the good things that are working to try to improve our communities. But in addition to that, it's also about thinking about how we reach other people in terms of the transformative opportunities of higher education. And I think so often we talk about first-time, full-time students, we talk about graduate students, and we don't talk about the hundreds of thousands of adults in this metropolitan statistical area, our metropolitan statistical area, that have some college and no degree. And imagine the mobility that happens when they have the opportunity to complete that degree that they've started. Or if they're not ready for that, to get a credential, an alternative digital credential, whether it's credit-based or non-credit-based, so that they can excel in their workplace. Right, that mobility is really important, and so we've focused on reaching that population, and you can see that that effort is starting to pay off. So we were up 29% in undergraduate online programs. That is particularly focused on online degree completion, and we reached 1,650 working adults as part of that effort in those programs, in our graduate and certificate programs. And we've issued 882 alternative digital credentials, right? So with partners like Thermo Fisher, Millipore Sigma, Tyson. So that industry alignment is something that we've really focused on, making sure that we're helping workers excel to the next level in meeting the needs of our industry partners. What I don't want to forget, though, is that we still have a very traditional role to play. So we have a teacher shortage, right? We talk about a nursing shortage. We also have a teacher shortage. It is a goal in IBHE's Thriving Illinois plan is that our public institutions help address that. And so we're doing that through a number of innovative ways. So we just have new federally recognized apprenticeship programs, and we're working to sign more of those with partners throughout our region that will allow teacher candidates to be paid while they're in service and have the payment offset for the employer. That will provide really valuable access for new students and additional training for them as they're in that opportunity. We've expanded our Master of Arts in Teaching and the pathways that offers. And we have a Future Teacher Conference, much like our sister institution. And in FY25, we hosted over 300 high school students from 20 districts, right? Imagining themselves as teachers and thinking about teaching as a profession. And we do on-site admission that day, but think about how powerful that is for them to have an opportunity to get to know a profession. Now, they won't all choose to be teachers, but having that moment to think about teaching as a profession and imagine what they can do and the difference they can make, I think is really part of our public service engagement and something we're really proud of. So I'll stop there. Happy to address any questions from the presentation or in the report.
Thank you so much for your passion, your dedication. I see your passion, and I know it's paying off. Thank you for what you do.
Trustee Williams, can I say just a few things?
Yeah, hello.
I'll let Dr. Hightower go first.
Thank you, Provost Cobb, and certainly Chancellor Minor. This is an outstanding report. I just want to touch on a couple of things, if we could, if you wouldn't mind discussing a little bit. I'm looking at your 76% retention across all students at SIUE. This is simply amazing. Just a few years ago, this was certainly a concern on the campus level, and how you've addressed this is simply incredible, and to see this number is outstanding. The second thing, I'm looking at your 2.9 million, Chancellor Minor, they have given. Is this your largest amount? And I know you started this program when you came to SIU. So question one, is this your largest amount? And question two, roughly how much have you raised since you've been there, Chancellor Minor?
Well, Trustee Hightower, thank you for the question. The provost started the presentation almost by lamenting the fact that we had to look backwards and we could not include the progress or success that we've had this year. So the 2.9 million is for the prior year. We actually had another record year in the quad for our annual dedicated day of giving of $3.2 million, which is to date our largest amount raised in a single day. So that has been extraordinary. And Trustee Hightower, to your first point about student retention, we have also experienced those numbers tick up for our domestic students returning to college this fall, and so we'll be really excited to share that in the next report. Also a record for some populations in terms of fall-to-fall retention.
Good. And a final comment. I want to just simply applaud you, Chancellor Minor, on the efforts that you continue to make in increasing SIU's footprint, and again, making it a holistic approach with faculty, staff, and your entire team. So please know that your work is appreciated in this area as I talk to business leaders and talk to various people. So just wanted to just get that out there. So great job, great report.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and thank you for the report. One of the nice things in this job is I get to kind of drop in to the universities and see a little spotlight of things that are happening that relate to things that we're talking about. The direct admissions, which you mentioned earlier this year during Welcome Week, I spent some time in Edwardsville, and I went to the School of Business, and how they were able to kind of connect the students to each other in those majors, but also the faculty participation was outstanding. I thought it was great. And it's funny, I went up and told them how great I thought it was, and they're like, yeah, we can do better, which is really a great thing to see that kind of, we want to keep building on this and improving, but creating that sense of belonging for students from the beginning we know has an impact on retention. A couple years ago, I was here at Carbondale and riding around with Jeff Bergen and Paul Frazier, and was just so impressed by the number of students that they knew. We're reaching out to them about issues they had. I remember one was like, have you figured out that financial aid issue? If not, come to see me tomorrow. Like that direct involvement of our staff, and those are just two people who do this on this campus on a regular basis. And then I just recently was with Chancellor Lane when we met with medical school students in Springfield, and then talking about how much they chose our School of Medicine because it aligned with their values, their goals, and how everything that happened to them since they made that decision has reinforced that was the right decision for them, and that, again, very much felt like they belonged there and this was the right place for them. So all of the things we heard today, it's like I get to see that in little snippets throughout the year, and it's always reaffirming to everything that we're doing here. So thank you to all of you.
Trustee Williams? Trustee Williams, comment?
Yes. Yes.
So, sitting here listening to all three of these reports from the two provosts and our associate vice dean at the medical school, I just want to make a comment on the medical school, just because I've had a front row seat to that for the last 50 years. Dr. McDowell presented data on growth from 2019 forward. Why did he pick 2019? It was the year before the pandemic. I don't think people realize what this medical school went through in a pandemic. I'll just give you one snapshot. It started March of 2020. But when that first year with no vaccines available, at their primary teaching hospital in Springfield had 1,150 deaths from COVID in 1 year that they were managing, taking care of. But you heard what he said. They've had 70% growth in clinical production since the pre-pandemic year till now. Phenomenal. Access to care. This medical school serves 66 counties of central and southern Illinois. And think about that Lincoln Scholar program that started. That's 32 medical students who are down here all 4 years. And their scores are identical to the scores of the other 72. They're extraordinary students, and I know it's paying big dividends. They said they had a 20% increase in faculty and a 20% increase in residents. I mean, a lot of people always say, oh, it's hard to get people to move to Illinois, and it is not hard to get high caliber faculty to come to SIU and practice medicine. So I'm just in awe of what they're doing in growth, sustainability. But the last thing Dr. McDowell said relative to the community workers program, he was talking about his experience standing in a tertiary emergency room working tomorrow. And he can do an extraordinary job with his colleagues. But if you don't have access to post-op pharmacy, and you don't have access to getting into a primary care doctor, you don't have access to seeing a specialist, and regardless, the ability to pay, the medical school steps up, they take everyone. And they're doing an extraordinary job. So I just can't commend Dr. Cruz, all the faculty, everybody that's in the university's medical school. We have a national treasure at SIU School of Medicine, and it's only continued to grow over the last 55 years. But this post-pandemic work is really extraordinary. Great work.
Thank you for your acknowledgement. Thank you.
I would just like to add that these have been 3 outstanding presentations. And when you couple that with what we heard yesterday, with the collaboration with the Simmons Law School, and even for those of us that toured the WSIU yesterday, this university system is moving forward and upwards in all categories. And I would match our system against any system in the country. And it's because of the people like you, that everybody at this university, at all the campuses, the faculty and the staff are doing just an outstanding job, and their dedication cannot be more appreciated.
Yeah, I just want to echo the sentiments too. I think all 3 of the presentations were fantastic. And I know because of time constraints, you had to get a lot of information into a little amount of time, but just thank you too for the performance report, the written reports that were given and in the materials, because it's clear the work and detail that went into that preparation, and it's very appreciated.
Yes, thank you all.
I also want to thank everyone for their reports, but Provost Cobb, I particularly want to mention the appreciation of the focus on the traditional mission of the university, as well as that some college, no degree population. I was one of those students for many years before I came back as a returning adult learner, so I appreciate that work. Question about the alternative digital credentials that you mentioned. Are those for credit or non-credit, and did you see any trends in, were there some high demand credentials, or did they vary across industry?
So they do vary, although I think we're starting to see some commonality. So the ones that are with Thermo Fisher and Millipore Sigma, right, our industry partners say these are the kinds of skills we're looking for. And so because we have the National Corn Ethanol Research Center, we have a biotechnology laboratory space, we're able to then teach students or members of our community how to use that. And we are also able to work with the county, local county employment offices to leverage WIOA dollars. And so those are non-credit, but they're also available to our students, and so they can enroll in them as well. And so it can be a value add for them, and that's the laboratory technician program. So they learn how to set up a machine, a particular set of equipment. They know how to clean it. They know how to service it, right? And then they're ready to immediately start work. We also did one with Tyson, where Tyson was looking for some of the workers in their plant to be able to have additional math skills so that they could move into management, or at least have an option of moving into management. So we offered algebra classes at the plant for a group of students. Really wonderful participation from our corporate partner in celebrating the accomplishments of the students, so that then they build confidence to move to the next thing. So a lot of those are non-credit right now. We're trying to do more credit alignment, but I will say for a chemistry student who then graduates and also has that alternative digital credential that they can put in their LinkedIn profile, right? And an employer can click on it and see, oh, they have these skills and these competencies. It sets them apart, right? So that they see, oh, not only do they have the degree, but they have a tangible set of skills and a readiness to be employed that this other candidate might not have.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Committee item 4 proposes an addition to Board of Trustees policy. I will ask Brenda Martin to please present this item.
Good morning. So, as a recipient of federal funding, SIU must comply with the Section 889
section does is requires that we have to have a certification that we are not using certain equipment. And so it's telecommunication and video surveillance equipment from certain foreign entities. And so these are things like cell phones, tablets, routers, switches, things like that. And so the government keeps a list of foreign entities that we cannot purchase or use these from. And so this policy is in place to make sure that each campus has policies in place to meet this requirement. So it details out things for each campus, the parties there, and then also our export control office at the system level. And so all of these together make sure that the campus is in compliance so that we can keep our federal funding, which is good. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Okay. Is there a motion to approve committee item 4?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call vote.
Hightower,
Yes.
Abyssina,
Yes.
Barnett. Yes. Salver,
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
The motion passes. Committee item 5 through 9 proposes Distinguished Service Awards and honorary degrees at the Carbondale campus. Chancellor Lane, will you please present these items?
Yeah, thank you, Trustee Williams. I'd be remiss if I didn't echo what the board just gave in congratulatory remarks. 3 great presentations. It's evidence that teamwork definitely makes the dream work, so it's great information all around. I present to you some very important individuals today for your approval or consideration and approval. I think you're going to be really excited to hear about their backgrounds. I'll start with James J. Miller for the honorary degree of Doctor of Science. James Miller, an internationally recognized leader in aviation, aerospace, and navigation policy, has devoted his career to advancing the systems that guide, connect, and protect people around the world. A 3-time degree holder of Southern Illinois University Carbondale, Mr. Miller has exemplified the values of innovation, collaboration, and public service that define the SIU mission. Over more than 3 decades in government, industry, and academia, Mr. Miller has played a central role in developing and strengthening the global positioning system for civil, commercial, and space applications. He currently serves as the Executive Director of the National Space-Based Positioning, Navigation, and Timing Advisory Board, appointed by the NASA Administrator. Beyond his professional achievements, he has remained deeply connected to SIU, facilitating the sponsorship of the previous NASA Wings program to introduce underrepresented students to aviation and aerospace careers. Through his leadership, mentorship, and lifelong commitment to service, James J. Miller exemplifies the highest ideals of Southern Illinois University Carbondale and the enduring impact of its graduates on the world stage. If you don't mind, Trustee Williams, I'll keep reading.
Yes, please.
Okay. Our next person we bring to you is for the honorary degree Doctor of Humane Letters. Mike Glenn, a distinguished alumnus of Southern Illinois University Carbondale, has devoted his life to excellence, education, and service. As a scholar athlete, he was twice named Academic All-American and earned the title of Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year in 1976 before embarking on a 10-year career in the National Basketball Association. Known to fans as the Stinger, Glenn became one of SIU's most celebrated players and later a respected broadcaster, educator, and humanitarian. In 1990, while playing basketball in the NBA, Glenn founded the nation's first and only free basketball camp for deaf and hard of hearing athletes, a program that continues more than 40 years. Beyond his athletic legacy, Glenn is an accomplished author, historian, and curator whose exhibitions and lectures illuminate the contributions of African Americans to sports, civil rights, and culture. He has written 5 books and curated national exhibits that blend history, education, and empowerment. He has many honors, including induction into the Missouri Valley Conference in Georgia Sports Hall of Fame in receipt of the MBA's J. Walker Kennedy Citizenship Award reflect his lifelong commitment to service above self. Through his passion, leadership, and educational outreach, Mr. Glenn has elevated communities, inspired generations, and exemplified the highest ideals of Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. Our next person, this is near and dear to my heart, Chancellor Minor and also Dr. Mahoney. We've spent a considerable amount of time with this individual. Dr. Cheryl Green, this is for our Distinguished Service Award. Dr. Green, a proud alumna of Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, devoted her more than 30-year career in higher education to advancing access, equity, and student success. As a transformational leader and tireless advocate, she embodied the ideals of servant leadership, dedicating her life to empowering others through education. At the time of her passing in 2025, Dr. Green was serving as the 6th president of Governor State University, where her visionary leadership left an enduring mark on the institution and the communities it serves. Dr. Green's career journey reflected both depth and breadth of impact. After earning her master's and doctoral degrees in counseling psychology from SIU, she went on to hold key leadership roles at the University of Michigan, Chicago State University, Tennessee State University, and the University of Wisconsin System, where she served as interim chancellor of UW-Whitewater. Dr. Green's legacy extends far beyond titles or institutions. It lives on in the lives she touched and the communities she strengthened. Her alma mater proudly honors her posthumously for a lifetime defined by service, compassion, and the transformative power of education. I hope today her staff are tuned in. We did send them a note, and hopefully they're listening, and we really appreciate Dr. Green and us being able to honor her today. Our last, which I think is very fitting, and I hope he doesn't get too choked up on this, but this is to honor our chairman, J. Phil Gilbert. Judge Gilbert has devoted his life to the pursuit of justice, exemplifying integrity, fairness, and an unwavering commitment to public service. His distinguished career as a private practitioner, state and federal judge, and higher education leader embodies the mission and values of the Southern Illinois University Simmons Law School. Appointed to the United States District Court for the Southern District of Illinois by President George H.W. Bush in 1992, Judge Gilbert served with distinction as Chief Judge from 1993 to 2000 and continues his service as a senior United States District Judge. Before joining the federal bench, Judge Gilbert served as a circuit judge in Illinois' first judicial circuit and as chairman of the Illinois State Board of Elections, where his leadership strengthened transparency, accountability, and trust in government. A lifelong resident of Carbondale, Judge Gilbert has furthered his commitment to higher education through his service on the SIU Board of Trustees since 2015, including 7 consecutive terms as chairman. His leadership has guided the university system with integrity, vision, and devotion to its public mission. Through his exceptional judicial record, his steadfast support of legal education, and his lifetime of ethical and community-centered leadership, Judge J. Phil Gilbert represents the very essence of distinguished service the SIU Simmons Law School seeks to honor with the conferral of the Honorary Doctor of Law. Trustee Williams, I bring each of those individuals to the board for your consideration and approval.
Chancellor Lane? What about board agenda item O?
I put Judge Gilbert in front of somebody. Can I rule them out of order?
Harry Spector, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it correctly. For distinguished service award.
Here we go, okay. This is for our Distinguished Service Award, Dr. Kathleen Perricack-Spector at the SIU Carbondale commencement. All of these are for commencement in 2026. Dr. Spector, retired professor of mathematics at Southern Illinois University Carbondale, has demonstrated extraordinary dedication to education, outreach, and service throughout her distinguished career and into retirement. Over nearly 4 decades at SIU, she advanced mathematics education through inspired teaching, leadership, and sustained community engagement that continues to enrich both the university and the broader Southern Illinois region. A respected scholar and educator, Dr. Spector served as Vice Chair of the Department of Mathematics and twice earned the College of Science Teacher of the Year Award, along with SIU's Outstanding Teacher Award and the Lyndale Sturgis Award for Professional Achievement. Equally remarkable is her continued volunteerism following her retirement in 2017. From her home in Michigan, she has returned repeatedly, entirely at her own expense, to support key SIU regional outreach activities, such as the Southern Illinois Regional Science Fair, Math Field Day, Expanding Your Horizons, and the Science in the South Conference. Dr. Spector's enduring commitment exemplifies a spirit of distinguished service, selfless, sustained, and profoundly impactful. Her lifelong devotion to SIU and Southern Illinois continues to inspire students, colleagues, and educators statewide. So I got a little ahead of myself. I apologize. Thank you, Paula, for that. Each of these individuals very deserving. They have been vetted through our council or committee that reviews on a wide scale all of their accomplishments, and we submit them for your, again, consideration and approval.
Thank you. Dr. Hightower, do you have words?
Yes, thank you, Chair. These are just outstanding honorees, and I want to just commend Chancellor Lane, President Mahoney, Chancellor Minor for you all's outstanding work in selecting these individuals. But I do want to just speak on the one nominee, that's our chair. Again, we could not be recognizing a more deserving individual for the commitment and dedication to not only the SIUC campus, but across the SIU system, for the commitment, dedication that our chairman, Gilbert, displays and demonstrates on a daily basis. The devotion, Phil, that you display is just absolutely outstanding. And we want you to know that we appreciate you, we respect you, and we support you. And we want you to know that this is just a recognition of your outstanding work and contributions to this area. John, I know that you would probably want to make a couple comments, if you would, please.
Sure. Judge, I heard you talking at one time about missing the window of application to SIU School of Law because you wanted to get started, and you went to Loyola, right? Correct. And that was because SIU was starting law school the next fall, and he didn't want to wait, so, and then he didn't transfer. So Judge Gilbert has educated how many children here? How many degrees have you supported and been behind?
My grandparents, my parents, my sisters, my wife, my children, and nieces and nephews have all graduated from SIU. I do not have a degree from SIU, so I was the black sheep in the family.
So when we heard that recently, I told Ed, I was like, we gotta fix this somehow. So we nominated him. Dr. Lane, thank you for running it through the process and the course of action. And so in May, depending on how things go between now and May, you may get a degree.
I can always flunk it, don't worry.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Chancellor Lane, and congratulations to all the, everyone who was recognized. Judge Gilbert, thank you for your guidance and your leadership, and Dr. Lane said it very well. You're the essence of integrity, and I appreciate coming becoming a member of this board under your leadership. You've held my hand, and I appreciate your passion and compassion for people. Thank you for all you do. And I'm so happy you're a Saluki now. almost a Saluki now. Yes, thank you. Committee items 5 through 9 propose. Is there a motion? Is there a motion to approve committee items 5 through 9?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call vote.
Hightower,
Yes.
Avezina,
Yes.
Barnett,
Yes.
Souter,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
And I'm not allowed to vote.
and Williams.
Yes.
Dr. Hightower, can I vote?
Yo. I'll answer for him. He's probably on mute, but I'm sure he said so.
Repeat that again, Chairman.
He asked if he could vote. I told him no.
Well, we, John, we had that discussion with him earlier. We told him no, but he still wants to try and push through it.
I
And
know,
I'd
he's
vote.
trying to put public pressure on us.
The motion passes. If there is no other business before the Academic Matters Committee, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Trustee Williams. The next committee meeting is the Audit Committee meeting. Trustee Curtis, will you please proceed?
The meeting of the Audit Committee is now in session. The first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes of the meeting held on December 5th, 2024. Is there a motion to approve said minutes?
So moved.
Second? Do I have a second?
Second.
Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call vote.
I can't second, I'm sorry.
She's not on that
I
committee.
wasn't.
Trustee Souter,
Sarah? would you-
Second.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, would you perform the roll
Curtis?
call vote? Yes.
Avezina,
Yes.
Souter.
Yes.
The motion passes. Committee items 2 and 3 are informational reports. The first is on the FY24 SAU system audit, and the second is the FY25 annual report of activity of the Office of Internal Audit Compliance and Ethics. Director Thompson is here today. Will you please present your report?
Good morning. It's my pleasure to present to you today. The first agenda item I'll talk through is the high-level overview of the results from the fiscal year 24 State Compliance Audit Report. Immediately following, I will present the fiscal year 25 Internal Audit Annual Report. Both items were provided to the President and Audit Committee respectively in August and September. Related to the first agenda item, the first fiscal year 24 State Compliance Audit was conducted by Plant Moran as Special Assistant Auditors to the Illinois Office of the Auditor General, and this was published and released in August. The report did not contain scope limitations, but did contain a modified opinion on a compliance and identified a weakness over internal control over compliance. The report contained 14 audit findings, with one deemed as material non-compliance, which influenced the modified audit opinion. We also received a letter of immaterial findings, which contained 4 lesser significant matters. Links to these reports were shared with the members of the audit committee at the time of their release. These reports were also filed with the U.S. Department of Education and the Federal Audit Clearinghouse. While campus staff were successful in implementing corrective actions for 7 prior year findings, there continued to be 10 repeat findings among the 14 current year findings. However, great progress was made on the oldest repeat finding that have persisted since 2005, which related to the finding failure to require faculty timesheets. This finding was actually implemented in the prior fiscal year, but it was deemed successfully implemented and closed in the fiscal year 24 review. Rather than providing a deep dive discussion at this time regarding the audit findings within the state compliance report, please feel free to reach out to me at any time with specific questions that you might have. Recently, we were requested by the Legislative Audit Commission to provide an update on the status of the fiscal year state compliance findings. This update was provided to the commission by the required due date, which was actually earlier this week, and I'm happy to share the update with the board as well. This now concludes my overview of the fiscal year state compliance report for 24. Now I will present the internal audit annual report, which is my slide presentation on the screen. This report actually highlights activities from last fiscal year, which occurred prior to my current tenure. So the annual internal audit report, next slide please, and next one. The annual internal audit report is required by the Fiscal Control and Internal Auditing Act, and it summarizes how the Office of Internal Audit, Compliance, and Ethics utilizes its resources, as well as the status of the internal audit plan and actions that are being taken by compliance and ethics. During fiscal year 25, no impairments to objectivity or independence existed for any of the fiscal year 25 engagements. There were no non-audits assigned to internal audit, as well as there were no projects performed that were out of alignment to the Global Institute of Internal Audit Standards. Next slide. Next one. An annual internal quality assurance review is required by the Global Internal Audit Standards, and this relates to ongoing monitoring and an annual self-assessment that we do internally. Our last self-assessment occurred in March of 2025. No impairments were found from this internal review. Correspondingly, an external quality assurance review is also required every 5 years by Global Internal Audit Standards. Our last review occurred in May of 2021, where we were rated and assessed as generally conforms to the standards. Our next external quality assurance review is due by May 2026, of which we already have an external assessment team identified and in place, which has been approved already by the Illinois State Internal Audit Advisory Board. This team will begin their assessment process of our department in early 2026 in order to meet the May 2026 deadline. Next slide. Next one. For most of fiscal year 25, we operated at a nearly full staffing level. However, currently there is a need to fill a vacancy for an IT auditor. One point that has been made in the past that I believe is still worth mentioning is the ongoing challenge to recruit qualified staff, particularly IT staff, due to the competitiveness in the market related to salaries and benefits. From a department structure standpoint, I report functionally to the board via the audit committee and administratively to the president. This positioning provides us the organizational authority and status to carry out our duties without interference, and also supports the legal requirements for independence and objectivity. Compliance and ethics reports functionally to the president and administratively to internal audit. Next slide. Next one. Historically, the department has executed on a 2-year rolling audit plan. For fiscal year 25 to fiscal year 26, there were initially 36 audits identified. Based on my review and present tenure, suggestions for adjustment will be submitted for consideration and approval by the president and the audit committee in the future. During fiscal year 25, 7 planned audit reports were issued, 2 special reviews issued, along with 1 advisory service. 11 reviews were closed, which relates to all open observations per a specific audit being implemented and closed. Next slide. During fiscal year 25, we issued 25 new recommendations for improvement to management across the university and successfully closed 8. There was a 19.5 closure rate. This was a drastic decrease from the prior fiscal year. This decreased ability to close observations relate to the challenges of significant staff turnover in some departments, which basically hindered the ability to follow up due to the constant staff turnover in some areas. Next slide. Next one. And finally, compliance and ethics serves as the key liaison of the Executive Inspector General. They oversee the annual training required by the State Officials and Employees Ethics Act, and they also prepare the annual year-end training reports for the OEIG and Executive Ethics Commission. Next slide. The review of 915 statements of economic interest was carried out by the ethics officer regarding her mandated duties. She investigated 22 OEIG complaints and fulfilled 4 case document requests from the OEIG. Next slide. The outcome and the content and outcome of our reviews and investigations are considered confidential, and they cannot be discussed in a public meeting, but I'm happy to speak individually if you want to reach out and speak directly regarding any of the observations, findings, or audits that we conducted. This now concludes my summary for the fiscal year 25 annual report of the Office of Internal Audit.
Thank you, Director Thompson. It's been a privilege for me to get to know you and begin our working relationship for the board and for those in attendance. Yvonne joined us at the beginning of this fiscal year in July, so she's finishing her first 6 months, and we're very happy to have you.
It's good to be here.
If there are no other business before the audit committee, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Trustee Curtis. The next meeting will be the Finance Committee meeting. Trustee Curtis, will you please proceed with the Finance Committee?
Finance Committee is now in session. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting held September 18th, 2025?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call.
Curtis?
Yes.
Barnett? Yes. Connolly? Yes. Williams?
Yes.
The minutes are approved. Committee item number 2, propose the approval of the purchase of coal hauling, ash disposal, and ash hauling for SIUC. Vice Chancellor Simmers, will you introduce this item?
Yes, thank you. This matter seeks to approve the purchase of coal hauling, ash disposal, and ash hauling services for the SIUC power plant facility on the Carbondale campus. The selected vendor is Nighthawk Coal, LLC, of Percy, Illinois. They will provide a 5-year contract for a total of $16 million, and this will provide the university with the opportunity to establish consistent pricing on this commodity. And this is a daily use commodity, of course, at SIUC's power plant. This is the lowest bidder in the bidding process. The Chancellor and I, the Vice Chancellor for Administration and Finance, have recommended this matter to the President. Thank you.
Is there any discussion by the committee members? Is there a motion for the Finance Committee to approve item number 2?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call.
Curtis?
Yes.
Barnett? Yes. Connolly?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
The item is approved by committee. Committee item number 3, propose the approval to acquire real estate for the SIU School of Medicine in Springfield. Dean and Provost Dr. Cruz is not here today, and John, I believe you're going to present that item.
Good morning. This is Board Agenda Item Q. This matter seeks approval to acquire 2 real estate properties, both located in Springfield. The university plans to demolish the existing structures for the future development of the School of Medicine campus. 309 West Reynolds has a purchase price of $43,000 and is located immediately adjacent to the Simmons Cancer Institute employee parking lot. 1043 North Franklin has a purchase price of $80,000. This property is directly behind an existing university building that houses the School of Medicine facilities management and operations. These prices are consistent with recent property sales in the area and will be funded with non-appropriated funds. The total purchase price is $123,000 plus associated closing and demolition costs of approximately $76,800. We seek your approval.
Is there any discussion? Is there a motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call vote.
Curtis?
Yes.
Barnett? Yes. Connolly? Yes. Williams?
Yes.
This item is approved by committee. Committee item 4, propose a revised award contract with Rise Point at SIUE. Provost Cobb, will you introduce this item?
Absolutely. Good morning. This matter seeks approval to revise the award amount for the current online program management agreement with Rise Point LLC, formerly Academic Partnerships, for targeted marketing and outreach for online programs. Rise Point provides recruiting and technical support for these online programs. SIUE maintains complete authority and academic autonomy over these programs, courses, instruction, and curricula. The partnership, first approved in 2018, was expanded in 2023, and has proven exceptionally successful in growing enrollment for the School of Business and the School of Education, Health, and Human Behavior, far exceeding original projections. On December 7th, 2023, this board approved a contract with Rise Point for a 5-year term ending June 30, 2029, in the amount of $5.5 million. Due to the success of the relationship with Rise Point, the current contract amount is projected to be fully expended by mid-spring 2026, rather. This matter seeks approval to increase the contract award amount. The funding terms would remain unchanged. This is a revenue share agreement funded entirely by the tuition and fees derived from the students recruited by Rise Point. This revenue is new to SIUE because of the partnership. The contract with Rise Point is eligible for exemption under the procurement code as a revenue-generating contract. SIUE is exploring the opportunity to expand our offerings through Rise Point. This matter also seeks approval to delegate to the President authorization to approve the addition of new high-demand online programs to the contract under the same terms as previously approved by the board. This contract allows SIUE to remain competitive and responsive to market needs in the fast-moving online education market. The Chancellor and I recommended this matter to the President and to the board.
Is there any discussion? I want to congratulate you, Provost Cobb, on this extraordinary growth in these online programs. This is exciting.
Thank you.
Is there a motion for the Finance Committee to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call vote.
Curtis?
Yes.
Barnett?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
This item is approved by committee. Committee item number 5 proposes an approval to select a general contractor services at SIUE Vice Chancellor. Tally, will you present this item?
Trustee Curtis, I'm going to present the item on behalf of the Vice Chancellor. This matter seeks approval to establish open service contracts through the formal bid process to retain the services of general contractors for various repairs and renovation projects at SIUE. The individual contracts will be awarded to the 4 lowest bidders, renewable on a 1-year basis for up to 5 years. The vendors may provide total services up to $500,000, but individual projects within the open services contract will not exceed the smaller formal bid amount of $100,000. For each project, the campus architect or a campus authorized architect will develop a scope of work. SIUE will solicit quotes from the 4 vendors and issue a fixed priced order. The availability of these contracts enables SIUE to work more efficiently and more cost-effectively to implement the projects across our campus. On behalf of the university, I seek approval for this item.
Thank you, Chancellor Minor. Is there any discussion? Is there a motion by the Finance Committee to approve this item?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call vote.
Curtis?
Yes.
Barnett?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
This item is approved by committee. Committee item number 6 is the annual debt compliance report that was shared with the board as information by Vice President Oates. If there are no other business before the Finance Committee, the meeting stands adjourned.
Thank you, Trustee Curtis. The next meeting is the Architectural Design Committee meeting. Trustee Simmons.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The meeting of the Architectural Design Committee is now in session. First item on the agenda is the minutes we had on September 18th meeting. So if I could get a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded. Madam Secretary, can you perform the roll call, please?
Simmons?
Yes.
Barnett?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Curtis?
Yes.
Thank you. This Motion passes. Committee item 2 is the project approval for the remodeling and naming of the Jim Hayes Stadium Club. Athletic Director Leonard, will you please present this item? I know you were kind of called in last minute on this, I think, maybe.
No, that's
Okay.
fine. I'm just, I probably look really bad because I'm really tired. I'm amped up, didn't get much sleep last night.
But we won last night.
Great one last night.
Huge win in dramatic fashion, right? I mean, that was unbelievable. I'm surprised I have a voice this morning. Anyway, yes, we're very fortunate. We had a gift earlier this year from Jamie and Netta Hayes for $1 million. And with that gift, they would like to remodel our stadium club. That's where they spend a lot of time during the football season. And so they were very excited to make this gift to us. So what we're here today is asking for your approval. I think you have the information in your packets to do a project that's essentially just a remodel of an existing space. And then in recognition of their generosity, we would like to name that facility in honor of Jamie's dad, the Jim Hayes Stadium Club. So with that, I am happy to answer any questions that you may have.
I do have a comment, and that is, as I understand it, it's about $1 million renovation project.
Yes, it's about almost $900,000 as of today.
And you have $250 in hand with seeking over the next 3 years, I think, to get pledges for that, right?
Correct.
Something like
The
that.
pledge was for $250,000 a year for 4 years, and then if we need to, what we do is a bridge with the foundation that
Okay.
will fund that until those gifts come in. However, we have spoken with the donor, and there's a good probability that they'll just pay it off this spring.
Fantastic. I just wanted it clear that we weren't in conjunction with the Finance Committee on this, so didn't want to fall back in our lap. So thank you for that. Are there any questions on this project? All right, hearing none, if I could have a motion to approve committee item 2.
So moved.
Moving and second, Madam Secretary.
Simmons.
Yes.
Barnett.
Yes.
Connolly.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Thank you, Director Leonard.
All right, thank you all so much.
All right, committee item 3 is the award of contract for the Simmons Cancer Institute Infusion Treatment Center. John, if you will, please present this item.
Yeah, this matter seeks the award of contract for interior renovations of shelf space on the 3rd floor of the Simmons Cancer Institute to build and equip a new infusion treatment center to allow us, the School of Medicine, to expand chemotherapy and other infusion services to patients. The board approved the budget and project scope at the December 2024 meeting. We sought bids for this project, and 4 bids were received. The bids were favorable, and we now seek the award of contract to CAD Construction of Tremont, Illinois for $917,600, architecture and engineering fees of approximately $132,000. For this project are included under existing professional service agreements. Furniture and equipment estimated at $250,000 will be purchased pursuant to existing IPEC contracts. Funding will come from existing School of Medicine plant reserve funds, and we seek your approval on this matter.
Thank you. Is there any motion on this item to put on that omnibus motion?
So moved.
Moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, could you form the roll call?
Simmons.
Yes.
Barnett.
Yes.
Connolly.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Committee item 4 is the award of contract for Bluff Hall Residence Air Handling Unit replacements at SIUE. Chancellor Minor.
Thank you, Trustee Simmons.
You're the replacement. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. Yes.
This matter seeks board approval to issue a contract for the removal and replacement of the Bluff Hall air handling units. Overall, the project for replacement of these air handling units across all residence halls was approved by the board back in December of 2023. Phase 1 of the overall project was completed in the summer of 2024. The cost of this phase is approximately $1.3 million, which will be funded by the replacement reserves. The work will be completed during the summer months to lessen the inconvenience to students and to ensure that the residential units are ready for the next academic year. On behalf of the university, I seek approval for this item.
Thank you, Dr. Mark. Is there a motion to approve this committee item 4?
So moved.
Been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Could you perform the roll call?
Simmons.
Yes.
Barnett.
Yes.
Connolly.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. There's no other business before the A&D committee. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Trustee Simmons. We will take about a 10 to 15-minute recess before the full board meeting reconvenes. Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Yes, I will. Abyssina.
Present.
Barnett.
Present.
Connolly.
Present.
Curtis.
Present.
Gilbert.
Present.
Hightower.
Present.
Salger.
Present.
Simmons.
Present.
Williams.
Present.
The quorum is established. The next item of business is approval of minutes of the meeting of the board held September 17th and 18th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion made and seconded. Mrs. Keith, will you please call the roll?
Abyssina.
Yes.
Barnett.
Yes.
Connolly.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Hightower.
Yes.
Salger.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Okay, the minutes are approved. Are there any trustee reports? I don't think there are. And the next is for the committee reports, and I will report that the executive committee has not met in between board meetings. At regular board meetings, 30 minutes will be reserved to receive comments or questions from members of the public and employees of the university. Speakers' comments or questions should not exceed 5 minutes. Persons wishing to speak shall contact the executive secretary of the board. The executive secretary of the board shall maintain a roster of those seeking to speak and shall call the speakers in order. Madam Secretary, do we have any speakers?
No speakers today.
Okay, our next item of business is the executive officer's report. Chancellor Lane, will you present this report to the Carbondale campus?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chairman Gilbert. As the PowerPoint is coming forward, it's hard to believe that it's already December and we're about a week away from commencement. You know, we always like to say the sun is always shining in southern Illinois, so you get a nice look before the snow. Actually, some of those trees haven't turned. So we are excited. We've got a lot of good information, but very brief presentation today. So if we go to the next slide, I want to talk with you a little bit about enrollment. And I mentioned earlier how teamwork makes the dream work. Our folks have been working together in a number of different areas to make sure that we don't forget about the spring. Sometimes we move to fall a little too fast and we forget about the spring and the summer. And so as you can see, a lot of our efforts to recruit students, whether they're transfer students or newly admitted students, those numbers are looking really good out of the gate on all levels. And so our team continues to be laser focused on making sure that happens. We've had some really successful SIU days here where we've invited several of our folks, not only in this region, across the state, across the country, that have been on our campus. We've welcomed those individuals and talked about the experience and what they could imagine when they get here to Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. So really excited about that. Fall typically is reserved, though, for recruiting. And obviously spring is for yielding, and now I'm talking about fall of 2026. Students will be coming in. So we spend a lot of our efforts in the fall trying to make sure that students say yes with our Say Yes campaign, with our partnerships here in the region, with our superintendents and our principals. But we really are focused on making sure the applications are there and that we yield those applications in the spring and turn them into registrations before they arrive in the fall. So excited about that. So next slide gives you an idea about some of these activities, and Dr. Mahoney actually mentioned one of our events yesterday during the executive meeting and how we paired our game against Purdue, our football game against Purdue, with one of our Saluki takeover tours in Indianapolis. And so I just want to give you a little flavor from some of these tours.
Being able to reconnect and get the highlights of what's going on campus with the research and everything that's going on, it was a great event. We really enjoyed it.
Hey, Salukis, welcome to DC. The stories tonight were incredible. I was so taken with everybody's story, and I got to tell you, I didn't really realize how many SIU alumni were out here in Washington, D.C., and I think that's what was most exciting about it, was to meet and see all of these new faces and names and make connections. That to me is what it's all about, to be an alumni and pay it forward.
You know, we've got this crazy event happening in Chicago, and it's called Saluki Takeover. And I would guarantee you, it's going to be about 300 people here, and they're going to go wild and crazy because we are great dogs here, and we're going to do some good things here, and it's for a good cause.
So I love to come out to the SIU takeovers because it's a great opportunity to mingle with current Salukis, old Salukis, and so it's just a great thing to be able to stay connected.
Live from Austin, Texas, we're bringing a little piece and slice of Carbondale. Welcome to Austin.
I think it's exceptional that we have a chance to come all the way out to Dallas to connect with people on a more personal level.
It's people from all over the place that are coming here, so it's really great to see people from Texas, come into Austin just for this event.
Going to SIU made me who I am today, so I just was happy to see everybody with the maroon.
To get this one opportunity every year to see this maroon, it really reminds me of running through the tunnel and hearing, "Welcome the Salukis." It just kind of brings everything home and reminds me of my past and the amazing time that I had at Southern Illinois.
It was great seeing everybody that I've known through the years, either at SIU or here in Dallas. So it's always fun to get together with a bunch of Salukis.
All right. Well, as you can see, Saluki Nation is alive and well, and I want to highlight actually the event that you're looking at is the Saluki Takeover in Houston. And while we were there, we were blessed with a very generous gift from one of our Saluki alums out of Chicago. And we're going to call this the Harv. This is going to be in Dean Morris's area. Thank you for the next slide. Very passionate, and you can see there a $2.1 million gift is what we announced at that particular event. This is a game changer, will be a game changer for our students. Harvey and you see colleague Michael's there, just great individuals. They live in Houston, and so having that connection to the state of Texas is important. He also connected us with Yes Prep, which is a very large, essentially charter school district down there that he wants to be able to funnel students from that district here to Southern Illinois University Carbondale. As you know, there are a lot of students that are looking to actually leave the state of Texas and come to places like ours where they can imagine a number of different things here that in some cases they can't do in their own home state. So we are targeting Texas big time. So really happy to have some donors. As you know, the Gower Translational Center Gowers are down in Houston as well. So Texas is definitely a friend to us in the recruiting market. Our next slide focuses on some of the other takeover events that we still have. And I have to thank the SIU Foundation and Matt Kupek and his staff. They are the primary reason why we're able to take these tours and take the show on the road, if you will. You can see the dates that are upcoming. We expect large crowds. We've already had record number of crowds for the first few Saluki takeovers. Our alums, our donors, our superintendents, principals, different community college leaders, there are a number of folks that join us. You heard the provost mention earlier, the deans are involved as well, and they are there at these events and working with those folks that I just mentioned. Southern Illinois Takeover Tour is, you can pencil that in, that's a little longer than most if you can look up there. Our job is really to try and cover the 17 counties in Southern Illinois, and so we do a lot of work out there to make sure we reach those students in those areas. So the return on investment, we're seeing that return, whether it's in donor contributions, whether it's in enrollment. These have proven to be very successful and really something we want to continue to go forward with. Next slide. Talk a little bit and brag a little bit about the SIU Foundation, and they see themselves as a very big accelerator to the institution. And I'll have to tell you, in my almost 6 years of being here, I can't think of another place I've ever been where I've been so supported by a foundation that helps us achieve our goals of enrollment and a number of other areas. I want to point your attention this Imagine SIU 2030 campaign. The goal is a $500 million campaign, and as you can see to date, what's been raised is pretty phenomenal. And so again, hats off and credit to Matt and his staff. The timeline, we're ahead of schedule. The timeline, this particular campaign will end June 30th, 2028. So we still have 31 months left. So you can see the overall totals. You can see exactly the progress that is being made is pretty phenomenal and pretty aggressive. Matt always points out it's the 5th highest fundraising campaign in Illinois public university history. This is phenomenal work. And again, we wouldn't be able to give those scholarships and do a lot of the things that we're doing to attract students to keep them from leaving the state of Illinois without these types of funds that you're seeing there. Next slide. You look at the last 5 months, and this is a chart that, if you go back to 2015, take a look at where we were then and just follow that all the way up. Trustee Curtis, you mentioned 2019 there. We've got that highlighted, but look forward 2020, 2021, and look where it shoots up there from 25 to 26. Again, just a phenomenal effort that is happening across our entire campus. So these are the dollars raised by fiscal year to date as of December 4th. We thought we'd give you a little historical flavor of what's happening. So you'll see that the support is there. I think the people, you heard in the video from the Saluki takeovers, they're excited about the things that are happening here on campus, what people are doing to make our campus stand out and to be attractive for those new and traditional and non-traditional students. And that's what it's all about. So we want to continue that success. That's a 196% increase, by the way, from last year. So that's a really big number. Our next slide highlights again something's very special. I know we refer to Dr. David Neumeyer as the Godfather. And as you can see, here's the unveiling of this, just a wonderful lobby naming for him. And I don't know, I don't see Dean Morgan. There's Dean Morgan over there cutting the tape there. I don't know if he's still here. Nope, he left. He took off. But just an amazing event. And if you talk to anyone that's ever come through that aviation program, they have so many great things to say about David and all of his contributions and what he's been able to do in changing lives for students, again, that have come through that program. So just really want to acknowledge and highlight him for that work. Next slide is the final slide, something that we do every year to really kick off the holiday season. We do it in conjunction with the Chancellor's Holiday Reception. Me, along with my staff, we typically will personally greet with a welcoming line all of our faculty, staff, and students that are coming to enjoy breakfast. We did it the other day, and I think they really appreciate that. It's our way of really demonstrating servant leadership and what we do here to serve, not be served, but to serve the folks that work so hard. Then we transition into this room, which is a years of service or a service recognition ceremony. So as you can see, 4,920 years of service from 284 employees and 100 retiree recognitions. Sarah does an amazing job coordinating and putting this together along with Nick Workman and recognizing. You can see a 40-year, I had one employee at 40 years, one at 35 years. We had 8 employees, 9 were at 30. I mean, that's a long time. It's very rare to have employees work at an institution, at one institution for that long. It's almost unheard of today. And so their fortitude and they've seen a lot through the years, but they're still here and they're smiling and they're working hard for the institution. Their loved ones were in the audience. Jody, my left hand, is at 25 years, so just publicly congratulating her for that particular honor. But these are hard-working Salukis. They support our faculty, staff, our students, and we just wanted to make sure you knew who they were, and we'll have more information on the web to kind of show exactly who was recognized. Those are just numbers. But very appreciative as we head into the holiday season. We wanted to make sure we acknowledge their service to the institution. And with that concludes my report.
Thank you, Chancellor Lane. Dr. McDowell, give the report for the medical school.
Thank you, Chair Gilbert. I am very pleased to be here again to share how SIU School of Medicine has truly advanced our mission and addressed our 8 goals across our strategic plan. The past 5 years have brought extraordinary challenges: COVID-19, workforce instability, and challenges all across the healthcare environment. But they've given us an opportunity to truly demonstrate our resilience, our innovation, and our deep commitment to the communities that we serve. Although the pandemic diverted our attention at times from some planned activities, in the next few minutes we will share how we were able to advance all 4 areas of our mission: education, patient care, research, and service to the community. In recognition of that lost 18 months and in anticipation of our leadership transition, we've officially extended our strategic plan through the year 2026. I'm excited to share with you some highlights. Next slide, please. Next slide. We'll start goal 1 with education. And as you're all aware, this is a core tenet of why SIU School of Medicine exists. And it is important to keep in mind that education is the first of the 4 pillars that are mentioned in our mission statement. We are very proud of the accomplishments we've made over the past 6 years around medical education. Taking this as a continuum of learners, we've started this by really growing, in fact, quadrupling the size of our P4 Pathway program, which is a pipeline program that exposes high school students across our region to the field of medicine and actually other healthcare careers as well. Secondly, and you've heard about this already today, we are very proud of the novel Lincoln Scholars Program, and we think it will bring tremendous advantages to the rural environments of Central and Southern Illinois, and really become an example of what other schools can be doing across the country. Finally, as our medical students move towards their residencies and they look to become more competitive, they need new ways to differentiate themselves, and those 5 longitudinal medical student pathways provide them additional areas such as research, leadership, health equity focus, so they can differentiate themselves on their residency applications. It's truly important for us moving forward. Next slide, please. Goal 2. Goal 2 is really to meet the needs and continue to grow the workforce that we have to take care of our patients and run our educational programs. And as you know, we can't do anything without the growth and strength of that workforce. So what have we done over the past 5 and 6 years to actually make this improved? Once again, we are developing pipeline programs with local high schools and other educational institutions to bring early exposure so people will consider SIU School of Medicine as a future employment opportunity. We've worked hard to be more flexible with the needs of our workforce so that they can find a place that fits their life needs outside of the work environment. And probably most important to many of those in our workforce, we've invested over $4 million in compensation adjustments to make it more equitable and a more enticing place to work day in and day out. Next slide. Our goal number 3 is research, another one of our core tenets at SIU School of Medicine and our mission. And clearly, in order to be a successful and competitive medical school, you have to have a robust bench and clinical research infrastructure. We recognize that, and we have advanced that over the past 5 years. We've been able to upgrade core facilities, improve our infrastructure, and again, develop stronger regional ties. And of course, we are very proud of the contributions that our research faculty made to the recent designation of Southern Illinois University Carbondale as an R1 research institution. Next slide. Care delivery. Care delivery and how we actually meet the needs of our patients is evolving rapidly. In fact, it is hard to keep up. We have truly made a commitment to become more patient-focused, and you can really measure that in the way that we've grown how we meet our patients. During the pandemic, we worked hard to expand telehealth service access overnight. And we've continued that contribution and that commitment to meeting patients where they need us as we grow our telehealth services moving forward. We're also much more aware of the importance of patient experience. We've developed a robust patient experience team, a new infrastructure, and we have allowed ourselves new access to clinical dashboards which show all leaders across the organization patient access, patient volume, patient efficiencies. These are game changers and really necessary so that we can meet patient needs when they have them and where they are. Next slide. The work environment. Anyone associated with healthcare is acutely aware of how challenging the work environment has become. We have made a significant commitment to do everything we can to improve this. Thomas Lee is the CEO and a Harvard-trained physician of Press Ganey, the market leader in patient satisfaction firms across the country. In his recent book, Social Capital in Healthcare, he clearly makes the point that work environments pivot around the success or lack thereof of the most proximal frontline leader. We understand that, and I see that when I'm in the emergency department. Therefore, we have worked hard to improve our wellness offering, our coaching opportunities, and our leadership development across all levels of the organization and our workforce. We recognize that that's an essential part of providing an environment where our employees, our learners, and our patients can really thrive. There's more work to be done, but we're excited about the progress we've made, and we look forward to making more of that moving forward. Next slide. Next is our external partnerships. And as you've heard before today and many times in the past, as a community-based medical school, partnerships are essential to our function. We spend a lot of time talking about the importance of our hospital partners, but we've grown beyond that over the last 6 years to partner with other areas as well. One that we're really proud of is co-founding the Behavioral Health Workforce Center and the associated Office of Certification Strategies. This is helping us to change what it looks like to receive behavioral health care across the state of Illinois. We are working to develop novel ways for patients to have access, ways to improve the care on college campuses, and really looking towards training a multidisciplinary healthcare workforce that meets the behavioral health needs of the future. Next slide. In order to do all of these things, stewardship matters, probably more today than ever before. And it would not have been possible to have this balanced growth across all of our mission areas without a firm commitment to diversifying our revenue structure and truly stabilizing our financial position. There are some other advancements and new developments that I think are key to this success as well. The recognition of a need for an office of strategy, project management, and enhanced business intelligence services are just helping us compete at a higher level. The development of a new strategic growth committee so that we can truly focus our practice growth where it matters and where it fits the needs of our market and our hospital partners has been a true mark moving forward. Finally, we are really excited about the transformation that will come as we move to the Epic electronic health record platform. It will be a true game changer and a win for patients, staff, and their families. We can't get there soon enough. Next slide. Finally, improving the message. In the past 5 years, we have truly elevated the awareness of our brand and the recognition of what SIU School of Medicine is all about. For years, we've been known as a great educational institution, but I think patients in our region now see us as a full source of comprehensive care and a true partner with our hospitals in the region to provide the best patient care. And that's been a very concerted effort on the part of the dean, our leaders, and the Office of Marketing and Communication. We've had great success with our Champions brand story, and we look forward to continuing to deliver this message. I would say on a personal note, this is really something that I have seen over the last 5 to 10 years, and Dean Cruz deserves a lot of credit for elevating what our brand is and the recognition of it across our region. Next slide. In conclusion, it's been a pleasure to be able to share with you today the successes that we've had despite many challenges across all of our core mission areas. We've been able to do this because of a strong group of employees and people who are committed to what we do at SIU School of Medicine. We think our achievements reflect a true commitment to the purpose-driven and community-centered innovation that will continue to position SIU Medicine well to lead with even greater impact in the future. As I close, I want to personally thank Dr. Cruz for his extraordinary leadership across all of these areas and the way that he continually works and strives to keep SIU School of Medicine moving forward. I'm happy to take any questions.
One of the first slides you had a patent. There was I know a bullet point that said there was a patent that was around the AI thing, and then later you said can't get there fast enough. Can you just talk a little bit about that patent and who developed that?
Sure. So I think what we're referring to is some work of Dr. Richard Sellenfriend, who has done work in the space of AI and artificial intelligence. And I should clarify that educational institutions are nervous about AI. What's unique about his research is he's trying to work on developing patient avatars so we can use AI to train somebody more quickly. When we train with standardized patients, which is a hallmark of innovation that SIU advanced 40-some years ago, it's expensive and time-consuming. If we find a learner who has a hard time maybe breaking the ice, starting an introduction, imagine an AI-powered interface where you can practice this 15 times before your next encounter in the clinic. It's truly a game changer, and the realness of the avatars that are being developed, it's pretty remarkable, and there's more success to come with them.
So,
Thank you, Dr. McDowell.
Thank you.
Chancellor Meyer.
Thank you, Chair Gilbert. I will just start. I got a short presentation, but I want to appreciate and underscore the presentations that have been made today. I'm actually inspired by them, and just really taken by the work that is happening across the system. I also want to congratulate Chancellor Lane. The fundraising numbers that went up on the screen are remarkable. So congratulations to you and your team. That is not an easy feat, and extremely commendable. I want to start my presentation with homecoming. Some of you have heard me talk about the evolution of homecoming at SIUE. With the tradition of being a commuter institution and no football program, we have struggled early on to figure out what homecoming is and means at SIUE. I think we have figured that out. It is officially now homecoming and family weekend at SIUE, and I want to just show you a short video clip to give you a sense of what that's like. So over the course of the weekend, we have this fall experienced record registration. More than 5,000 individuals have registered for some activity over the weekend. Record participation for the race, which is a 5K, 10K run walk. I think this year we had more than 620 individuals register for that event. And that is up from 337 just a few short years ago, so that's remarkable. You see there, one of the things I want to mention about the weekend is not only do we have the race, there is an MPHC yard show, there are family-friendly activities, and this photo is perhaps one of the more remarkable developments for Homecoming and Family Weekend is that we intentionally invite family members of our current students to come back and to participate in homecoming. And it is interesting, it also happens to be the opportunity, the time in the fall semester where some version of being homesick kicks in for our first year students. So to have their family members back on campus at some point during the fall semester has really turned out great. I want to draw your attention to two photos. One is the one in the middle. This was maybe Friday night, I guess it was, for Rock the Quad. We've got a live band. The quad transforms into a very special place. But this individual, there's a student in this photo, and there were roughly 9 members of her family who ascended on campus for the weekend just to celebrate with the student for homecoming. And in the photo, you can't see it here, are grandparents, parents, and younger siblings in that photo, which is really remarkable. It is sort of the personification of what we mean when we say family weekend. The other photo I want to bring to your attention on the right side of the screen, the middle image, is Sergio. He is a transfer student. He's an engineering student. I don't know if you can see his t-shirt. It says solar on it. He's a member of our solar car team in the School of Engineering. But he's a transfer student, and his parents are there. Now, the photo ops happen on Sunday. I learned this year, but for family members who are lingering on Sunday, who are still around for Sunday morning, we offer them breakfast in the muck and an opportunity to take a professional photo, if you will, with our campus photographer. And there are props and things that they can use. Sergio, so I happened to be there Sunday. I happened to talk to Sergio's parents, who said to me this was the first time in his educational career, and they're talking kindergarten through this moment in time, where they felt welcomed in the educational community that he was a part of. And that was a really remarkable testament to what the weekend means for lots of family members. The next thing I'll just mention is Give Kids a Smile Day. Most of you know this is our 20th year for Give Kids a Smile. And this year we combined it with a legislative staff visit. You'll see there in the top image Representative Amy Ellick, Representative Katie Stewart, their staffers from Representative Jay Hoffman's office, Representative Kevin Schmidt, and others photographed there who had an opportunity to visit the School of Dental Medicine and really see firsthand in terms of what we do in terms of the operation, but also the service we're providing to the community members across the region. I want to say thank you to John Charles, who's seated back there, for helping us facilitate that visit. I don't have to tell you all how important it is to have members of our legislative body actually on campus. I want to just, before I get to Veterans Day, I want to just mention one other thing. For those of you who have not had a chance to attend Give Kids a Smile Day, I thought in my first to second year of attending that the focus was on the students who were receiving dental care and understanding how our faculty and students were serving these students who are arriving for our community. It took me maybe until the third go-around to realize that the real story was with the parents who were waiting for them to come out of the clinic. And when you talk to them, the number of individuals in our community who don't have dental insurance is significant. And they're living in communities where their access to dental care is limited. And so I've told the story a couple of times of the parent who said to me, this is the only time in any given year that her daughter is going to see a dentist. This year I had an opportunity to meet a dad who was there, who had a similar story, who's driving an hour and a half to get to this clinic so that his son can be treated. It is really a remarkable part of our community outreach from the School of Dental Medicine. More than $90,000 of free dental services are provided on that day. We do that happens in October. In November, we have a similar event for veterans. Over 92 veterans receive service, roughly $50,000 in the value of care. This program is in its 8th year, so we do the same for veterans. And I believe there's a short news clip here.
Well, then we are at 4 as the country honors Veterans Day this week. Some dental students spent today helping heroes take care of their teeth. Today was the 8th annual Veterans Care Day at the SIU School of Dentistry. Veterans who have served our country were able to stop by and get free dental care. Today's clinic was held at the dental office in Alton. They do travel around for this. Veterans were able to get x-rays, cleanings, fillings, and extractions. The free care is critical because so many veterans can't normally get access to dental care.
The overwhelming majority of veterans do not qualify for dental benefits through the VA. So many of these veterans don't have a dental home and are in need of dental services and go for long periods of time without care. So we're trying to get the word out ahead of time enough so they have enough time to find us. We have people that drive from 2-3 hours away to come here today.
Veterans who missed out today can pre-register ahead of next year's free dental care clinic. The SIU School of Dental Medicine has clinics in Alton, East St. Louis, and Edwardsville.
just a short clip of the news coverage. I want to point out one other story. The person in the bottom left of the screen is obviously a veteran. His name is Kenya Margum, who drove an hour and a half to get to the clinic. This is a person who left home at 19 to serve 6 years in the U.S. Army with roles in both infantry and intelligence with deployments to Bosnia, is without dental insurance. And so, again, sometimes I focused on the clinic, but the real stories are in that lobby and waiting area. So I just want to invite trustees or members of our university community who want to participate in that day. It's really special. I'm really proud of Dr. K and the School of Dental Medicine team for providing this service to our community. Just a couple of other beats on the legislative visits. We had the opportunity to welcome Speaker Welch to our campus along with Representative Katie Stewart. Again, I can't underscore the importance of having members of the legislature on our campus to engage with our students and individuals who are leading our programs. This was an action-packed day. Again, thanks to JC and others on the team for helping to facilitate this visit. They got to learn about codes, which is a strand of our undergraduate curriculum you heard the provost talk about. We also were able to share information on them about what is developing in Belleville. They took a visit to the SIUE Cougar Cupboard, which is our name for food pantry on campus. And they were able to visit the SOAR office where students were gathered for tutoring. It's really interesting to watch both of them engage and interact with our students. They also had an opportunity to tour the new Health Sciences Building and the National Corn to Ethanol Research Center. So really action-packed visit, but I think a good touch point for two members of the legislature. So I'll move to the State House to Congress. We also had the opportunity to welcome Congresswoman Nikki Bunzinski to the School of Nursing. And you can't see it from the image, but seated in front of her are a group of nursing students. And we've heard about the shortage of teachers. We've heard about the shortage of nurses. And it was really interesting. I didn't have a role here. I was just sort of participating. But to watch the Congresswoman engage our nursing students about the future of the profession and the things that they're concerned about, I think was a big lesson for many of us. But we were really appreciative. I thought she listened carefully to our students and genuinely was interested in what they had to share. So it's a very good visit, also a very nice touch point from a member of Congress on our campus. Second to last, we're still winning and retaining, Luke, federal grants. This is one of them. Dr. Chaya Gopalan, who is both in the School of Education, Health and Human Behavior, and the School of Nursing, won an NSF award in collaboration with Dr. Sharon Locke, who is a professor of environmental science and the director of SIUE STEM Center. They're leading a groundbreaking $2 million partnership that's funded by NSF. I want to read to you the title of the grant because I can't remember it. Developing STEM Education Reform Leaders Through a Multidisciplinary and Cross-Institutional Community Transformation. Now, I don't know who came up with the title, but let me tell you what that actually means. Imagine faculty members who are teaching STEM both at the university level and across community colleges. So our partner for this project is St. Louis Community College. Groups of faculty members who are teaching STEM courses across those campuses get together to talk about and work through how to more effectively offer STEM education and post-secondary education. Really exciting project. And NSF grants, for those of you who have had the opportunity to pursue them, are extraordinarily competitive. And so for a faculty member at SIUE to be leading this project is really extraordinary. We want to highlight a member of our faculty who is doing excellent work. Second to last slide is preview day. We're not quite ready to start to talk about fall enrollment projections, but this is very encouraging. We were around our leadership team, and the conversation one day was about capping the number of registrants for a preview day. And this is the first time in my history at SIUE that I had heard that. It was a really great problem to have, and that we were oversubscribed for our largest ballroom space for students who are interested in attending SIUE or to just come check us out. It is a really great opportunity for us to preview the university and to showcase what we have to offer as a destination for students who are going to be transitioning to college. I want to just take a one beat to appreciate the entire university community. This cuts across housing, dining, public safety, parking. Faculty members are making presentations from particular academic departments. It is an entire university effort. We spend a lot of time with our grounds crew to make sure the campus looks as well as it can for these opportunities to showcase the university. When we talk about enrollment management, one of the things that we know is happening is the number of institutions that a single student is applying to is north of 12. So the moment these students leave our campus, they're going to the next 6, 8, 10 campuses, and you've got this really important opportunity to make an impression on them, which we have really improved our presentation of the university, which I'm very proud of. So hopefully the interest translates into applications and admits and deposits and students moving into residence halls this fall. I'll keep the board updated as we progress throughout the enrollment cycle. Finally, Chancellor Lane, I want to confess that we have extracted every ounce of goodness out of our men's basketball success last season. I checked to see if there was anything else in there, and they went, no, we've extracted every ounce of goodness. It was a first time for us, a really big moment in the institution's trajectory. The banners went up this fall as we opened our basketball season, a really proud moment for the university. But this slide, I would argue, is the counterbalance to the conversation we had yesterday on college athletics. We recently received the report from the NCAA that ranks institutions on how well they're performing graduating student athletes. It's commonly referred to the GSR, the graduation success rate. And I was on the road with our athletic director, Andrew Gavin, who pulled me to the side and he whispered to me that we're number one. And I said, "What, are you sure?" And he says, "Yes, we've checked and we've double checked. SIUE nationally is number one among all public universities for graduating student athletes, which is a remarkable feat when you look at the other institutions that are on that list. Among all institutions, public and private, SIUE ranks number 17. The 16 universities ahead of us on that list are all private institutions. Now, I've tried to figure out different ways to translate this for people because I think just hearing it, people go, gee, that's nice. It is remarkable. It is remarkable when you look at the other public institutions that SIUE ranks ahead of. It is just remarkable. I am grateful to the team in our athletics department and feel very fortunate. I inherited a culture where the students' performance in the classroom is as important as their performance in competition, and it is a really great compliment to the athletic success that we've had over the past season. Chair Gilbert, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Chancellor Meyer.
Can I make a comment?
Oh, you want to?
Just real quick to Dr. Meyer. Please don't cap those preview applicants. Think about preview days. So it's all looking good.
No, I ask about overflow. I ask about whether we could do one in the morning, one in the evening. There are multiple dates throughout the year, and all of them this year have been either at capacity or over capacity. So part of the conversation with our leadership team is how do we add additional dates to try to accommodate the students and families who are interested. So we're not in a position of turning anyone away.
Thank you, Chancellor Biden. President Mahoney.
Yeah, I'll just start by saying again, congratulations on the graduation success rate. Clearly, that's our priority, is for all of our students to graduate, and particularly with our student athletes. And you can't get much better than #1 in the country among public universities, so that's a big accomplishment. I think across the reports, a couple themes I think we see consistently is the number of places where we're setting records of some sort. We certainly heard that with fundraising. This is the best 5 months we've had, but I think it's just about going to be the best year, even if we didn't raise another dime the rest of the year. We're pretty much at what our record was for an entire year, which is pretty remarkable. We saw it with the discussion of homecoming and how much that has grown at Edwardsville every single year, and so setting records there. And we just see that across the School of Medicine in a number of ways where we're doing things that better than we have ever done before, which someone who started their career focused very much on continuous improvement, that says a lot, and I think it's pretty meaningful. But related to all of that, I do want to say it's one of the things, and knowing enough about what we're doing in each of those areas, it really is very much a team effort, and a lot of people go into that success. And when you look at the fundraising, the stability we've had with fundraisers and across our foundation group has been really critical in doing that. And that's not typical sometimes in foundations where there's lots of turnover in fundraisers. The fact that we've had that kind of stability has helped. But we see that again with all of these different activities that we talked about. Having good stability and good people in those roles make an enormous difference. Today, what I'm going to focus mostly on, earlier we talked about some federal legislation that we had to pass some policies on to be in compliance. One of the things that has been around for a while is the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act. And I'm going to ask Carol Samara to come up and talk about that. It's been around for a long time, but I'm not sure most people are as familiar with it as they should be. And kind of her efforts in leading us and trying to make sure we are in compliance. I will point out Carol is a two-time SIU Carbondale alum, both undergraduate and her law degree, and both her parents got her law degree from the law school here. So nice to have our alumni come back and people connected with the university helping us in this effort. So Carol.
Thank you, President Mahoney, Chairman Judge Gilbert, and members of the board. I am very honored and excited to be here today to introduce you to our NAGPRA work, and I will do this by starting with the legal background and the weight of history behind the work that we do with NAGPRA compliance. So the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act, or NAGPRA, is codified at Title 25 of the United States Code. And this title is entirely dedicated to federal Indian law, which means that NAGPRA was enacted in recognition of the unique government-to-government political relationship between the United States and federally recognized Indian tribes. The legal foundation of NAGPRA is upholding the federal government's treaty obligations and trust responsibility towards tribes. And there are currently 574 tribes with federal recognition. So Native American, when we're talking about NAGPRA, is a political category. It is not an ethnic or racial one. Tribal nations are communities of people, but they are also sovereign governmental entities. And the overarching federal duty towards tribes is meaningful government-to-government consultation before carrying out actions or making decisions that impact a tribe's interests. Next slide. So, what are tribal nations' sovereign interests recognized by NAGPRA, and how does that affect universities like SIU? So, tribes are inherent sovereigns that predate sovereignty of the United States, and they retain all aspects of their sovereignty unless treaties or Congress have explicitly divested them of specific powers. So NAGPRA, as a law, recognizes that tribes retain their sovereignty over their ancestors and their cultural heritage. And NAGPRA, in effect, delegates the federal duty to meaningfully consult to, quote, any institution or state or local government agency, including any institution of higher learning, within the United States that receives federal funds and has possession or control of a holding or collection. Next slide. Oh, I'm sorry. So this is the Right, these are the regulations, word for word. I don't like to paraphrase regulations, so there they are. So universities have a big responsibility here. And even more so because NAGPRA regulations underwent major updates effective January 2024. Under NAGPRA, universities such as SIU are required to both protect and restore Native American human remains, funerary objects, sacred objects, and objects of cultural patrimony to lineal descendants, Indian tribes, and Native Hawaiian organizations. And NAGPRA requires consultation with tribes and deference to Native American traditional knowledge. The updated regulations and SIU recognize that tribes are the experts in their own cultural heritage, and SIU is committed to putting forth good faith efforts to implement the duty of care instructions from our tribal and Native Hawaiian organization partners. And I will add that these duties and commitments also align with this university's land acknowledgement, which is really better titled as a people acknowledgement. Next slide. To meet our compliance obligations, we've begun with SIU's existing, next slide. To meet our new compliance obligations, we've begun with SIU's existing museum infrastructure and the NAGPRA eligible collections within those units. SIU has 3 flagship museums: the Sharp Museum at SIU Carbondale, the University Museum at SIU Edwardsville, and the Pearson Museum at SIU School of Medicine. But by far, the greatest NAGPRA compliance responsibilities fall under the Center for Archaeological Investigations, the CAI, at SIU Carbondale, which is an archaeological repository both for SIU and for federal agencies. Each of SIU's collecting units must be adequately resourced to meet the needs of this moment and to ensure that the university as a whole is compliant in good faith with the updated regulations. Next slide. Remember, the entire university is subject to NAGPRA, and SIU must identify and consult on all NAGPRA-eligible holdings. And this slide, defining a holding or collection under NAGPRA, will give you an idea of just how encompassing these requirements are. Now the good news. We are making progress. Despite the odds, we timely notified federal agencies of holdings in compliance with deadlines earlier this year, and working with several agencies, we confirmed federal control over numerous collections held at SIU, including 31 Native American individuals that previously were reported as under SIU control, and including archaeological collections dating from excavations as far back as the 1930s. This means that those federal agencies are now responsible for carrying out the NAGPRA process associated with those collections. And we are seeing that federal agencies are prioritizing NAGPRA compliance, as evidenced by SIU receiving in-person visits from agency representatives to inventory their collections this year. Now that SIU has much better understanding of which holdings are in our control, we are reaching out in earnest to tribes and beginning to build relationships and to move forward with consultation and re-engage with tribes as we move forward with NAGPRA compliance. Next slide. As we continue our work to meet this incredible moment and responsibility, I invite you to recognize that NAGPRA compliance can be where this university shows its leadership and builds its legacy. NAGPRA compliance is our responsibility, and it is an incredible opportunity for SIU as well. It is a heavy lift, but it is not a burden. It is a value driver, and NAGPRA compliance will continue to move this institution forward. NAGPRA compliance lifts SIU not only by strengthening trust, but by building truly meaningful relationships and partnerships, by protecting and enhancing our reputation, and by fulfilling the promises of our land acknowledgement, our code of ethics, our institutional mission, and our strategic plan. I welcome questions at this time, and I also would like to I would be remiss if I didn't mention Vice President Dr. Sheila Caldwell, who has been an instrumental leader in elevating NAGPRA here at SIU.
I have a question.
Yes.
When I often hear universities acknowledging their land and acknowledging the tribes that previously lived and occupied that land. Is that part of this act?
No.
Okay.
No. This is purely having to do with the human remains and the cultural items that are held at institutions.
And do you know if, and the chancellors may be able to answer this question, when we have tours on our campuses, are we acknowledging the Indian cultures and tribes that resided on where we occupy space? Thank you.
Any other questions? Well, thank you, Carol. I appreciate it. This is important work, and we appreciate your leadership in helping us do this. This was one that was a challenge for us, frankly, before Carol came on board. We made a lot of progress. She talked about that a little bit, but I think it's important to acknowledge there's been a lot of progress made in this area. And while we do have a land acknowledgement statement that we do read at a lot of events, both system events as well as campus events, so that is a common thing that we do as well.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Just real quickly, some updates from the Office for Community Engagement and Institute for Rural Health. The Office of Community Engagement continues to do good work in a lot of different ways, including working with the campuses on a clean energy contractor incubator grant, which we received, as well as working with a number of groups such as the Alton Housing Authority, the Alton Medical District, Imagine Bunker Hill. So a lot of different activities that they continue to do to help support our communities. Connie Frey-Spurlock is also leading the search for a new director for the Institute for Rural Health, and that process is going on right now. Jeff Franklin, who was the interim director, is retiring, so we're in the process of that search as well. So those are my updates. Happy to answer any other questions.
Any questions for President Mahoney? Thank you very much to the chancellors and Dr. McDowell and President Mahoney for wonderful reports. As I said earlier, this system is moving forward and going up, and it's due to the leadership that we have at our respective campuses. Our next item is the call for the omnibus motion. Trustees have had approximately 10 days to study the items on the agenda. A certain number of items are routine or self-explanatory, so as to save time, we act upon them in one motion and one vote. Madam Secretary, please read the items suggested for the omnibus motion.
The omnibus motion will include board agenda items F through J and board agenda items L through V.
Is there any discussion? Is there a motion to approve these items for the omnibus motion?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. We're now going to ask for a roll call vote.
Abyssina?
Yes.
Barnett?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Curtis?
Yes.
Gilbert?
Yes.
Hightower?
Yes.
Salger?
Yes.
Simmons?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
I declare the omnibus motion is passed. Next is the consideration of board item K, recommendation for an honorary degree, SIUC. Do I have a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Maybe a roll call vote.
Abyssina?
Yes.
Barnett?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Curtis?
Yes.
Hightower?
Yes.
Salger?
Yes.
Simmons?
There's that pause again.
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
And Gilbert?
Abstain. I declare the motion is passed. Before I conclude the business of the meeting, I appreciate the gesture and the recommendation by this board, the university, and the Simmons School of Law for this recognition. I believe Paula called me about a week ago and said, "Can you stop by the Soul Center?" And I thought she wanted me to sign something, and then she showed me this resolution, and I said, you know, it's not right, not necessary. I'm just doing my job. But I appreciate the recognition. But I will say this, every board member deserves recognition. For every one of you value public service and have given back to your communities as well as serving on this board. So I share this recognition with all of you as well as the many people, past and present, who have guided and directed me during my life's journey. So I appreciate, again, I appreciate it's not necessary, but I appreciate the recognition. That concludes the business of the Board of Trustees. The next regular scheduled meeting of the board is planned to be held February 5th, 2025 at the SIU Edwardsville campus. A news conference will be held immediately at the conclusion of this meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote.
Abyssina?
Yes.
Barnett?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Curtis?
Yes.
Gilbert?
Yes.
Hightower?
Yes.
Salver?
Yes.
Simmons?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Motion passes. I declare this meeting adjourned. And thank you, Dr. Hightower and Trustee Salver for participation virtually. Have a great day, everybody.